Hey, what is going on, everyone? Today, we are going over the worst updates in Fortnite history. But first, I'm trying to reach 2,000 subscribers by the end of 2023, so make sure you do subscribe, but let's get straight into the video. Let's start off simple with the Mechs. Back in Season X, Fortnite introduced us to the Mechs, which were basically robots that Fortnite players could control, and you could shoot rockets at people, killing them instantly, and even jump around the map, which was way too overpowered. This was one of the worst updates in Fortnite history, because not one player was safe from the Mechs. If that thing came near you, you had to run, or you're pretty much dead. It got so bad, Lazarbeam dedicated an entire video to self-destructing the Mechs, which was pretty hilarious. This is Mongrel's reaction to dying to this mechanical beast.
What? It's invisible!
What?
The mecha is invisible for me!
Yeah, that's a glitch.
No, I'm done!
Now we move on to the Infinity Blade, which was first introduced in Chapter 1, Season 7. This item was extremely overpowered and could kill tens of people at once. It was hard to get, as since there was only one sword at Polar Peak, the entire lobby would all go for it. Only one person would get lucky and would pretty much destroy half the lobby. Not only was the sword overpowered, it gave you tons of health, so it would be hard for people to kill you. The only downside was that if you picked up the sword, it would drop all your items and would not let you build. This is Ninja's reaction to the Infinity Blade being used in an actual tournament.
Not the Predator, but he is. Saw him as a Predator. Another one's going to be right in front of him. Some defense coming through here, but what are you going to be able to do? You're just cutting through the structures, and Uzi falls to the Infinity Blade.
Staying in Season 7, we now move on to planes. At first, people thought planes were a good update because it was the first time we had a flying vehicle, but it turns out that you can ram planes into builds, making them take a ton of damage. If you were having a build battle with a sweat and you see a plane coming in your direction, you better run, because if that thing hits you, you're pretty much dead. Now we move on to the bottle rockets. People did not hate this update because the rockets were overpowered. This was one of Fortnite's most hated updates because the bottle rockets were super trash. You would throw them in the direction you want, and they would shoot rockets, but they barely did any damage to players, and people could easily just avoid them. These are just some of the opinions people had on bottle rockets. This was Lachlan's reactions to finding these for the first time.
Many of these things. All right. I'm gonna try it out quickly. We're gonna try it out on like one house. They're there. Fire the missiles! Oh my, what the f—
It does what? That's like.
I put it in slightly too short. That was so underwhelming.
Wow, that's so cool.
Shut up. When we get 100 of them, it's gonna be absolutely lit. Watch this, Fresh. I'm getting him. Go, bottle rockets! On me, Fresh, please!
Next up, we move on to the Boogie Bomb when it first got released. Back when it first came out, it basically guaranteed you a free kill, because if you got hit by this thing, you would take bullet after bullet the face, and you could not do anything about it. The Boogie Bombs actually came back this year, and luckily, it's not as bad since there's a lot of builds and cover everywhere. You have a higher chance of surviving. While I was recording this video, we got one of the worst updates ever. Fortnite has become super child-friendly, as now you won't be able to use half of your skins in Fortnite. For example, if you're using a pickaxe that shows knives, you won't be able to use it on certain creative maps like the farming simulator, which is made for children. If you do wear a banned cosmetic in a children's map, it will just be replaced with something, the default skin, for example. Personally, I think this update is really stupid because Fortnite is literally a game about shooting each other to get the win, so it is kind of annoying. This update even applied to the loading screen too. Before, this used to be the loading screen, but as you can see, it shows weapons like it should. But now it got changed to this screen, which I do prefer, but the whole update is really stupid. Now, we move on to miniguns. This weapon was extremely overpowered when it first released Chapter 1 Season 2. Back then, people didn't even know how to build properly and defend themselves, so when someone would just spray the minigun at them without having to reload, you had no choice of surviving. Even if you were a good builder, ping was still a big problem back then like it is today, and most of the bullets would get through your builds with ease. Okay, but for real, what was Ninja actually doing? Now we move on to Fortnite nerfing turbo building. If you don't know what turbo building is, it's when you can basically hold down your mouse or controller and build stuff really fast without having to constantly click and place builds down. This allowed people to do the craziest building in Fortnite and was a haven for sweats. In 2019, Fortnite decided to ruin their game and slow down turbo building. This meant that you could no longer 90 because you're too slow, and it was extremely hard to do high ground retakes. Not one person liked this update, so luckily Fortnite reverted it back the next day. This is Lachlan's reaction to Fortnite's mistake.
They delayed and like the later stages of your turbo building. So if I try to bang a 90, yeah, 90s are broken. this is Fortnite right now. You can't 90. You can't turbo build 90 anymore. So if you were to 90, you'd have to do... Okay, it's just not even happening.
Now we move on to the boom boxes. People hated this item when Fortnite added it because like the bottle rockets, it was just pointless. You would throw it down and it was supposed to destroy builds, meaning that you would be able to kill players super easily. It turns out that instead of being overpowered or useful, it was just annoying and no one liked it at all. Back then, the materials were not capped at 500 either, so people had enough mats to just keep building. Now we move on to the drum gun, and I'm sure you can understand why this is on the list. The drum gun was basically a rifle, an SMG combined, and was extremely overpowered. Pretty much everyone sweat used this gun when it first came out, and they caused so much pain and chaos. Luckily, it got removed. But then, when the Season 9 event happened and everyone had to vote for the item they want returned to Fortnite, for some reason, people decided to bring back the drum gun and rain down havoc once more. Speaking on drum items, the drum shotgun was probably even more overpowered because it was a shotgun that you could literally just keep on spamming. Remember when double pump got added and you could kill people super easily? Well, the drum shotgun is pretty similar, and if you were a controller player back then with the insane aim assist, there was no stopping you. This is Muselk's reaction to using the drum shotty.
I got the shotty, boys. Watch it. Holy crap, this thing is a beast.
Now we move on to Coral Castle, which is the most hated Fortnite location in history. In this location, there was water everywhere, with barely any mobility, so getting around the POI was super annoying. Pretty much no one ever landed here, and Fortnite putting it in the corner of the map that no one ever goes to didn't exactly help. Next up, we move on to the Merry Maruaders. They were NPCs that would chase you around the map in groups and basically just keep shooting at you for literally no reason. To be honest, I don't actually know why Fortnite added them. I don't really see the point of getting chased around the map by non-playable characters wearing animal skulls on their face. Next up, we have Fortnite getting taken down on iOS. If you don't know, Fortnite got in a giant lawsuit with Apple many years ago, and you can no longer play the latest version of Fortnite on your iPhone or any other iOS devices. People didn't care that much at first, but then we realized that it's probably never going to come back, so yeah, that does suck. To be honest, it was extremely hard to play on iPhones anyway, so me personally, I'm not that bothered. Now, we have the Pulse Rifle, which is an extremely overpowered assault rifle. You could find it on the floating island that would spawn above the map, and that you can rain down hell on your opponents. When you aim with it, it shoots pretty slow, but if you don't aim, you can just spam it, and the bloom is not even bad, so it was super easy to get killed by this thing. Next up, we have the new Fortnite lobby layout. This is extremely ugly, and it is super hard to actually find what you're looking for. The old Fortnite lobby used to look so much better, and I thought they would have changed it back for the OG season, but I guess not. Finally, we ended off with the Chapter 4 map. Chapter 4 was the worst chapter we have ever had, and none of its season were good. The map was also horrible as there was no color, and the loot pool was really boring. The map barely changed, and even the mega city didn't really feel special. Keep in mind that we didn't have a single live event this chapter, and I'm not even sure why Fortnite bothered bringing us here. I'm going to end off the video by saying two things. First, like and subscribe. Second, let's hope Chapter 5 is actually good.